Alright, we are having some minor technical difficulties today, but I think we're doing a lot better. My Elgato, bum me up, I have the space today. My Elgato, which I use for dual PC streaming, was bugging out. And I eventually got it fixed. We'll see how it goes. I also modified my stream setup a little bit more, moving around my. That's partly why the VTube was farther away. I'm moving around my iPhone, moving around my microphone. Everything feels a lot better, I hope. But we're gonna try it out for this stream. And here we go. By the way, we are reading Surviving in Another World as a Villainous Fox Girl. It's a Japanese otome novel based on kind of an isekai. Characters get transported into another world. It's in a romance setting. In the first book, they set up a guild, which is like a fantasy thing. You have to have your fantasy guild. And in the second book, Miku, the main character, the fox girl on the cover, knows that if she falls in love and the other person doesn't return her love, she can only fall in love once, and if that person doesn't return her love, she'll die. So she's got like a one-shot chance, and everybody, a bunch of people, seem to at least be like really close friends with her. But even more, oh, remote. Oh, P messed it up. See, go to. Should use bookmark next time. What's the spinning gear on my screen? Let me check. I don't know. Is that a that gear is definitely guilty. Whatever it is, it seems to be gone. I'm guessing that was more trouble with the Elgato. I might be looking at replacing that thing. We'll see. But yeah, I think we're good now. I did accidentally jump around. There I am. There I am. All right. We are good to go. You didn't miss anything. We are reading chapter 4, hopefully through 6. This is called The Witch Doctor. And we're dealing with Miku trying to figure out her romance options. Right now, for some reason, she thinks she's in love with Macro, but it's a little bit early in the book, and I could see that changing up as they try to mix things up for a romance novel. So we start off, how long have I been lying here in a daze? When I hear a knock on the door, I tell them to come in without moving. I'm sure it's just Claire who's bringing me some food. I try to turn to face her so I can thank her properly, but I can't muster the energy to actually do so. I hear the door quietly open, followed by Claire's soft footsteps inside her room. She puts the tray of food down on a nearby table with a soft clap. Stop being silly and just turn around and face her, I think to myself. But just as I'm about to, Miku, huh? The person who says my name isn't Claire, and my shoulders tense up in surprise. I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Macro? Why is Macro here? I'm even more surprised because I thought it was Claire this whole time. So surprised, I feel like my heart's about to pound right out of my chest. Claire's busy cleaning, so she asked me to bring your food up. Yeah, thanks? So Claire's behind this. She probably wants me to talk to Macro. She wanted to give me a chance to talk with him alone. But I'm so caught off guard that I don't know what to say. If I don't speak up soon, though, he'll leave right away since he's already finished what he came here to do. I have to think of something. Think. Hey? We both speak at the same time, cutting each other off. Did he have the same thought at the same time? Caught off guard, I look over at Macro and our eyes meet. He looks surprised, and I realize I probably have a similar expression on my face. Unable to hold it in, I burst into laughter, and Macro quickly joins me, chuckling quietly. We get along in the weirdest way. Yeah, Miku, how are you feeling? You seem to be doing better. Thanks. I'm actually back to normal. Once we start talking, the words continue flowing out of my mouth naturally. Thank goodness. I guess it's still possible to talk normally while still being aware of my feelings for him. Claire told me a little bit about what's going on, that sometimes your chest hurts because of a curse. Yes, that's right. I see. So, she came up with an excuse to explain why I was in pain the other night. I gave a silent thank you to Claire, who always seems to be watching out for me. If I'm ever in pain again, everyone will know it's just my curse. I won't have to come up with a new excuse every time or be forced to call a doctor I don't need. I hate that they're worried about me, but hearing my affirmation, Macro frowns slightly. His brow furrowed. I feel like he's choosing his next words very carefully. I feel bad for making him worry about me, but what he actually ends up saying catches me off guard. I might not be able to break the curse, but I can at least help alleviate the pain. Huh? There's a way to alleviate my pain? Really? I'm so surprised to hear those words that I can't speak. As I sit there, dumbfounded, Macro explains everything. Dwarves are able to use magic thanks to the pact they've made as a race with the natural spirits of the world around us. So when he heard about my curse, he consulted those spirits. The wood spirits, who he has direct contact with, reached out to the wind spirits, who then talked to the flower spirits, and among the three of them, they were able to come up with a type of medicine that could be used as a painkiller. He played telephone with spirits. Wow. Wow. I had no idea you'd come up with a plan like that in such a short amount of time. Hopefully, Kiefer can help us by making the magic gadget we need for this to work, but we'll also need the help of a witch doctor alongside it. Unfortunately, that means you'll have to be in pain for a little while longer, at least until we can get everything together, he mumbles somewhat apologetically. This is going pretty well. This is not what I expected. I'm liking it. Don't worry about that. I assumed I was stuck dealing with this pain. Don't worry about that. I assumed I was stuck dealing with this pain on my own for the rest of my life. But I'm so surprised and grateful that I find myself at a loss for words, unable to express my emotions out loud. Macro, I don't know what to say. I feel bad that that's the best I can come up with after such a long pause. It's so frustrating. Just saying thank you isn't enough, considering everything he's done. Just then, I feel the warmth of his hand on the top of my head. I freeze, my heart pounding loudly. I'll need you to come along with me tomorrow. We can't make the medicine without you there. You want me to come with you? With his hand still on my head, my heart beats faster at the realization of how close he is. As I remain face down on my bed, Macro moves his hand slightly, his ears grazing one of my ears. Eep! I'm the only one who knows exactly what we need and how to make it. I see. Maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing? Macro, your fingers keep brushing my ear. Not only is it ticklish, but I'm kind of embarrassed. Also, I kind of just want him to keep his hand on my head like that forever. I wonder why I feel this way. Despite my best intentions, my body begins trembling. Noticing, Macro hurriedly pulls his hand back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was him. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. No, it's fine. This is awkward. So awkward, but I don't hate it. I've never had anyone touch my ear like that before. If it was anyone else, I'd be mad, but I don't mind if Macro does it. Ugh, I'm so embarrassed. Do you like soft and fluffy things, Macro? I ask suddenly, the silence between us unbearable. I glance over at him and see he's looking off toward the side of the room, his face half buried in his hands. Is it just my imagination, or are his ears redder than usual? I'm really sorry, but yeah, I do. My heart aches seeing him so frazzled. He's so cute. Maybe I may be a strange thing to say about a boy, but oh well. My heart grows warmer from that thought alone. Oh gosh, I like Macro so much. It's okay. You managed to discover this painkiller for me, right? And I really appreciate it. Which is why I want to thank you in some way, because it means a lot to me. So don't worry about it, okay? You promise you won't tell anyone else? I promise. I end up giving him a simple thank you this time. But our little shared secret means the world to me. Today, I'm heading off first thing in the morning to get painkillers. Just Macro and me. That's right. We're heading out. Just the two of us. I've been so focused on being able to finally get some relief from the random pain I keep feeling that I completely forgot about that part of the plan. Can my heart make it? I've always been able to hang out with him without a care in the world. Now I can't remember how to act normal. Love really is a scary sickness. At least the mark on my chest doesn't hurt. In fact, I think it's fading. Do I really need painkillers after all? Or at least, those are the excuses I keep coming up with. But there's no fooling myself into believing it will disappear on its own. I really do need this medicine. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. But still, I have an entirely different problem on my hands. Mainly, how am I going to handle spending all this time alone with Macro? Miku. Eep! A voice suddenly shouts my name from directly behind me, and as I feel hands grab my shoulders, I cry out in surprise. I feel like my fur is sticking straight up. I turn to see Claire standing there, laughing, her shoulders shaking with amusement. For crying out loud! Sorry, I didn't think you'd be that surprised. Claire? I glare at her with with tears in my eyes as she sits on my bed, apologizing yet again. She then pats the mattress next to her, inviting me to sit with a soft smile. I sigh quietly to myself before settling down next to her. Miku, you look like a girl in love. Do I look weird? I ask timidly, and she laughs merrily in response. Not in the slightest, she says while patting my back gently. You look very cute. I never thought I'd see you like this in the real world. It's embarrassing to hear her compliment me like that. I sit there, my gaze firmly on the ground in front of me, fumbling over excuses when I realize Claire's hunched over as well, her face obscured. I try to get a better look and notice she seems sad. I'm the one who let this happen. Seeing you in pain like this, I can't help but blame myself for everything. I'm shocked. Claire has always been the confident one, the one who always led the way, charging forward while dragging me along behind her. I've almost never seen her look so miserable and be so down on herself. I guess she's just acting this way because of me, huh? I'm the reason why she's had to be so strong this entire time, and I'm the reason why she's blaming herself right now. I'm still worried, you know? I have no idea when you'll die. I live with that fear every day. But you know what? I'm still rattled from seeing her like this. but she takes both my hands with hers in a huge smile. Her grip of is warm and so strong. The intensity of her smile makes her sadness from only a moment before seem like a lie. I'm really happy to see you so much in love and enjoying every minute of it. That's why, moving forward, I want you to be honest with your emotions, to embrace them, and forget all my nagging up until now. That's all. It's like, it's too late for you now anyway, she says with a cheerful giggle, but I can tell right away that she's forcing it. I'm your sister after all. You don't have to hide things from me, Claire. I know she's trying to protect me, but as her sister, I feel the same way. I want to protect you too, Claire. I hug Claire tightly. She lets out a surprised yelp, which I pretend not to hear, only squeezing her tighter. You're the reason I've come this far, Claire. Every day is so much fun, and I'm forever grateful that you care about me as much as you do. I'm the one who betrayed you by falling in love. You've been protecting me ever since I can remember, and then I had to go, and... No, Miku, you're wrong. Claire quietly interrupts my rapid-fire succession of thoughts. She pats me on the back gently, trying to calm me down. We just care about each other too much, she says. How can you care about someone too much? Her words pierce my heart with surprising ease. So then, neither of us are at fault here. We're just sisters who love each other very much. I mean, we came into this world together and spent all of our lives together, so it makes sense, right? My shoulders immediately slump with relief. Now then, let's not talk about this anymore, okay? Sounds good to me. It's not getting us anywhere. We look at each other and immediately start laughing. Knowing how stubborn both of us can get at times, this argument over who gets to take all the blame could very well go on forever. I'll do whatever I can to be in your corner moving forward, Miku. That's why I sent Macro to your room yesterday. You sent him? I knew Claire was behind him suddenly showing up. Looking back, I'm grateful, but I still wish he'd give me a heads up or something. His sudden appearance really shaved a couple of years from my life. Though, to be fair, if I'd known, I'd probably been even more nervous than I already was, and probably would have panicked. I guess not telling me was the best move. I owe her so much. Thank you. I'll keep doing my best. Good. And with things the way they are now, make sure to have fun on your date. Stop that. I'm trying my best to calm down, not get more worked up. Talking to Claire helped ease my nerves somewhat, but now my heart's racing once again. Don't remind me. I squish my red-hot cheeks between both hands. Herg, how do I stop feeling this way? Should I keep an eye out on her today? I don't think she'll be a problem, but... Huh? It's not important. You look so cute today, Miku. Have fun! Does Claire know have something she needs to do today? Too? A job or something? She's such a hard worker. I'm kind of jealous. Once I get my painkillers, I'll be able to get back to work. That's right. Today's mission is to get my medicine. It's not a date. Sorry, Macro. Are you waiting long? I somehow managed to calm my racing heart and make it downstairs, only to find Macro already eaten breakfast and drinking his post-meal tea. He's taking it a little too easy. Nope, not at all. Come to think of it, Macro's not a morning person, is he? And yet he got up bright and early because we have plans together. Knowing that, there's no way I can enjoy a leisurely breakfast now. I'm all ready to go, so let's hit the road. Oh, Kiefer and the witch doctor still aren't ready yet? I guess we don't have to show up too early, huh? No, I'm clearly panicking and I can't seem to calm down either. But I spent all this time getting myself ready and now all I want to do is get moving. Besides, I won't be able to calm down unless I can talk about something. Seeing me so frazzled, Macro heaves a sigh and gets to his feet, standing behind me, he grabs my shoulders and gently pushes me into a chair. What's going on? Sit. You haven't eaten breakfast yet. Huh? But you have to eat or you won't have any energy. Eating a proper meal is important. It's not good to skip them. Okay. I'm usually the one telling Claire that line, With the roles kind of reversed, I have no choice but to listen. All right, let's hurry up and get this over with. And don't gulp it down either. Eat your food like a normal person. Oh no. Okay, he beat me to it. How did he know? I feel myself curling up into a ball of shame, knowing he saw right through me. I feel like an overexcited child. I'm so embarrassed. He disappears into the kitchen to scrounge me up some food. I find it so embarrassing how good he is at taking care of me. I thank him, still hunched over, and he gives me a slight nod before sitting back in his seat and picking up his cup of tea. I'm sure he'll only get more annoyed if I try to scarf it down anyways. So I begin eating my breakfast at my usual pace. Claire steps out of the kitchen, and when our eyes meet, she gives me a wink. It's like she's cheering me on. She's also the one who made the breakfast we're enjoying. I smile back at her, silently thanking her for both the food and the encouragement. She waves it off before leaving us alone at the table without another word. She's clearly giving us some alone time. If I get too self-conscious, I'll end up taking away way too long to eat breakfast. Trying to calm myself down, I pick up the bowl of warm corn soup. It's so creamy, as the sweetness fills my mouth, it likewise has a soothing effect on my heart. Thank you so much, Claire. Oh man, they made her so cute. And that's her sister Claire winking, wearing like a I guess the cooking apron, and that's Macro down there looking like the guy from Konosuba a little. I would have expected him to be bigger. So he's like small and strong, but not like ridiculously muscled. He's strong, but he doesn't look it. I glance over at Macro, who's sitting across from me, and notice he's reading a book. He looks so cool, leaning back comfortably in his chair with his legs crossed, book in hand, which is funny considering I've seen him in this exact position many times before. With no one else around us but us, Macro focused on his book. The only sound in the quiet room is the rattle of my utensils against my plate, and yet the space feels cozy and comforting. The silence between us doesn't bother me at all. In fact, it's pretty nice. After taking my time and finishing my meal, I once again tell Macro I'm ready to go. You don't want any tea? He asks me, but there's no way I can sit here much longer. No, I'm full, I tell him, and he doesn't push it any further. Let's go then. Okay. We leave the guild and head off into town, walking side by side. I'm used to him escorting me to jobs around the city, but this time I'm hyper aware of the distance between us. Though it's not like I'm any closer or further apart than usual. I know I'm overthinking this, but I can't seem to stop. We'll stop by the witch doctor's place first. Okay, she lives nearby, huh? What is she like? She's like a shifty old grandma. Shifty? So she's kind of mysterious then? He's as tight-lipped as usual, meaning that's all the information I'm going to get. I'll probably understand it better once I meet her, but considering the silence through breakfast, I wish we could talk a little more now that we actually have a potential topic of conversation. Well then, if we won't talk, I'll have to take the reins. Have you met her before, Macro? Are you friends? She's more of a business acquaintance. I don't commission her often, and when I do see her, our conversations are always more transactional in nature. I see. So, how it is sometimes, huh? Ugh, that ended way too quickly. What do I do now? Oh gosh, what else should I ask him about? Oh right. You mentioned something about needing some kind of magic gadget for the medicine. Does Kiefer have experience making stuff like that? Not that I've seen personally, but I'm pretty sure he's talked about crafting something similar before. Uh-huh. And the conversation is over again. I ask several more questions. Those answers are so thorough, I can only follow up with a simple, uh-huh, or I see. He speaks in a way that's concise and easy to understand, making any further questions redundant. I can't bring myself to ask about previous work he's commissioned for, and there's no way he'd bring up any of that unprompted. Ugh, talking is hard, but I want to talk with him so badly. I want to hear his voice just a little more. Uh, um, hey, I try to start yet another topic of conversation when he suddenly cuts me off. He actually wants to talk about something. I glance over at him, surprised only to realize he's watching me. I had kept my gaze straight ahead this entire time, and when our eyes suddenly meet, I feel like my heart leap into my throat. He looks at me curiously, his head slightly tilted to the side, before asking me a question. Do you want to talk with me? Huh? I can feel his eyes moving this way and that restlessly, completely caught off guard by his overly direct question. But there's no way I'm going to talk my way out of this one, so I answer him honestly. Yes. And as soon as he hears that, I hear him chuckle softly in amusement. Just like before, huh? That time when you started asking me about my favorite food? All right. It was back when we held a dinner party in hopes of convincing Angela to join the guild. Back then, I was desperate to find out as much as I could about my fellow guildmates. I remember him telling me he liked sweets. That's also when I learned what a big appetite he has. At that time, I thought you were just a weird girl making meaningless conversation. I thought he thought I was strange. I almost feel overwhelmed by the sheer weight of embarrassment and shock at hearing that. Does he still feel that way about me? But he quickly continues. I don't feel that way now. You don't tend to babble on and on. And it's kind of fun. Yeah, good then, great. He thinks talking with me is fun. His expression is as unreadable as ever, but I'm super relieved to know that he doesn't find me annoying in the slightest. My tail begins wagging without me realizing it, and I break into a huge smile. I mean, I'm so happy I can't help it. I always assumed you prefer peace and quiet, I tell him, and he agrees with a chuckle. But that doesn't mean I hate talking with people, he says, depending on who I'm talking to, of course. That he considers me to be a fun person to talk to makes me so happy. Can we keep talking then, I ask? I never said we had to stop. But you didn't say we could keep going either. Am I pushing my luck? I think to myself, but when I glance over at him curiously, I notice his lips pursed in a frown before he finally answers. Go ahead. Whew. Thanks, Macro. I'm so relieved and so happy. My heart feels all warm and fuzzy. I wonder if the mark on my chest is a little smaller and a little fainter. Maybe love's not so bad if it leaves me feeling this wonderful. It can be painful at sometimes, but moments like this make me forget all about that. I'm sure I have the most ridiculous expression on my face right now. Teehee. Are you feeling any better today? Macro questions about my health. Yes. Thanks to you. I haven't done anything. You've done more than you realize. Though, of course, I can't tell him that right now. I wish this peaceful moment between us would last forever and ever. We finally make it to the top of a tiny hill on the outskirts of town. There's a small house near the entrance to the forest, which is where the witch doctor lives. Everything is bathed in shadows despite being on the top of a hill, thanks to the overhanging branches from the trees in the nearby forest. I wonder why she chose to live somewhere where not many people pass by. Oh hey, your local penguin followed me. Welcome in. We're doing a reading stream. I'm reading a novel called Surviving in Another World as a Villainous Fox Girl. It's a super cute Otome style novel where the girls fall in love with guys. So it's from the girl's perspective, the young fox girl named Miku, which we find hilarious because everybody loves Hatsune Miku. Here we have Kitsune Miku. We are on chapter 4 of the second book. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to join in. We're just having fun. And right now, the main plot driver is that this is also an isekai novel. So several characters have come from another world, including Miku's sister and one of their other friends named Hector. Miku's sister named Claire knows that Miku has a curse where if she falls in love with somebody and that person doesn't return her love, then she dies. And she has now fallen in love, it looks like, with this dwarf named Macro, who looks kind of like the idiot guy from Konosuba. So let's keep on going. We're at the end of that little section right there. We finally make it to the top of a tiny hill on the outskirts of town. There's a small house near the entrance to the forest, which is where the witch doctor lives. Everything is bathed in shadows despite being on top of a hill, thanks to the overhanging branches from the trees in the nearby forest. I wonder why she chose to live somewhere not many people pass by without reason to. Does she prefer peace and quiet? Despite walking for quite some time to get here, it didn't seem to take that long at all. Okay, understandable. Yeah, have a great time. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for following me. Despite walking for quite some time to get here, it didn't seem to take that long at all. It's funny how time seems to move differently when you're with someone you like. I was so happy to get someone one-on-one time with him that I kind of wish it lasted for a little longer. She has a tendency to make folks feel uncomfortable. Just be careful. Oh, that's right. We're here with a specific purpose in mind, so I shouldn't get too overexcited. I have to be careful. But what exactly do you mean by uncomfortable? Shifty doesn't give me a lot to go off of. I'll need to be extra careful not to accidentally offend her or anything. I let Macro go ahead of me, staying half a step behind. I watch nervously as he knocks on the door, but there's no response. Just as I begin to wonder if maybe she's not here, he reaches forward without an ounce of hesitation and opens the door. Huh? Can we just go inside? She flips this sign around when she's not at home. That knock was just a formality to let her know someone's here. Oh yeah? If we wait for her to meet us at the door, we'll be here forever. I see. Does she not want to be bothered? I'm getting more anxious. I'm just glad Macro's here with me. If I was here by myself, I'd end up waiting out here for the rest of my life. Well, I thought it might be you. As we slowly make our way inside the house, an older lady with a loose-fitting, wine-red dress appears, cane in one hand. Did she injure her leg? Looks like she's having a hard time walking. Oh, maybe that's why she doesn't like going all the way to the front door to greet potential customers. I figured you'd be expecting me. Sheesh! As socially inept as always, huh, kid? Not even a hello or how you doing. I'm not socially inept, I just assume those niceties were unnecessary since, as a witch doctor, you'd already know it was me to begin with. Wait, she knew? And despite Macro not telling her ahead of time, witch doctors are amazing! I'm not about to open my mouth and make things already worse, though I can see how annoyed she seems to be already. Is she mad? Sigh. Boring as always. How about at least trying to create a more friendly atmosphere for the sake of the nice-looking young lady here? She settles down in a chair while grumbling about Macro not knowing how to give a proper greeting. Wait, she's not angry? I'm sure she's just looking out for me. I went into this thinking she'd be some terrifying witch, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Well, go ahead and take a seat. I know why you're here. Does that mean we're done with the whole creating a friendly atmosphere stuff? It's a bit late for that, in my opinion. No point in wasting my time any more than you already have. It doesn't look like the two of them get along. It seems less about clashing personalities and more about their communication rhythm being completely off. Able to sympathize with both of them, all I can do is stand there and smile awkwardly. Oh, I realized belatedly, I never introduced myself. I hurriedly bow my head politely before heading over to the couch she gestured for me to sit on. Nice to meet you. My name is Miku. Thank you for helping us out today. Both the old lady and Macro seem caught off guard by my maybe too abrupt introduction, both of them looking at me wide eyed. Just as socially inept as Macro, I can feel myself blushing again. Miku, is it? I like you, kid. Hey, you. I wasn't planning on helping you out, but if it's for her, then I changed my mind. Just as sarcastic as ever, I see. But we appreciate the help. Thanks. I guess she's been bad-mouthing Macro this whole time. Well, he wasn't wrong with his previous description of her. She seems like a nice person at heart, but at any rate, I'm still not sure what exactly motivated her to help us out, but I feel a huge sense of relief knowing that step 1 is complete. And with that, I finally sit down on the couch. Well, that's out of the way. Let's get down to business. She leans forward slightly before looking me straight in the eyes. Gone is the seeming indifference from earlier, her gaze suddenly piercing sharp. The atmosphere in the room changes instantly, and I feel my shoulders tense up in response. You were born with the curse of light, Miku, which was recently put into motion, is that correct? Yes, that's correct. She grunts in response before looking me up and down as if scanning for something. Then she taps me lightly at the very top of my stomach, right where my mark is. I can feel my heartbeat start to speed up, partly from what she said, but also surprised that she somehow knew where it was. Yep, that's the spot, she mutters to herself, either because of my reaction or because she already knew. Then she closes her eyes and begins to meditate. Oh gosh, I'm so nervous. After a few moments of silence, she opens her mouth once more, a mysterious look on her face. I won't be able to break the curse, which isn't surprising, though I can cast a similar curse on someone else if you want. Don't waste your time trying to scare us, Granny. My entire body is trembling after hearing that, but I can tell from Macro's annoyed expression that he's trying to help me out. Ugh, thanks. I'm at a clear disadvantage here since I have a hard time with sarcasm. Just an attempt at an old lady's humor. Don't take it seriously, hun. Now then, it seems I've made a mistake, Miku. What do you mean? You don't know, huh? She asks in response before settling back in her seat. After making herself comfortable, she says something that takes my breath away. I know how to break the curse. What? Really? I'm shocked. I assumed I'd be stuck with the curse, but for the rest of my life, I look over at Macro, who seems as surprised as I am. The thing about curses is there's always a way to break them, by their very nature. Even magical curses can be lifted, you know. Though, if you were to ask the gods themselves, she says, they'd tell you it's a mark of their love and not a curse at all. Hey, welcome in, Mandala. Welcome to the stream. We're doing a reading stream, reading a book called Surviving in Another World as a Villainous Fox Girl. The villainous part is a little sus. She is not villainous at all. Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for coming in at least. Awesome. Continue reading. Though, if you were to ask the gods themselves, they tell you it's a mark of their love and not a curse at all. It's often said that there is a god for each type of magic, and that those who can wield only one type of magic are especially cherished by that deity. Claire always told me that I was adored by the light, but I didn't realize that by light she was referring to a goddess. So that means the goddess of light really loves me a lot, right? The story I grew up with is quickly becoming far more epic than I realized. Though being a legend of sorts, I'm not sure how much of it is true. Still, the witch doctor has a way of speaking that's oddly convincing. She goes on to say that their love is also a curse. If it harms someone, then it's most certainly a curse, she huffs, an expression of distaste clearly evident on her face. I've personally never met any of those so-called gods, but I wouldn't pass it off as a simple fairy tale either. I think the gods and goddesses exist. I've just never seen them for myself, but I believe those who said they have, and they're the people that'll be able to help you. They can lift the curse. That she doesn't seem God-fearing in the slightest is a bit scary, but hearing her say that makes me slightly hopeful. I mean, she's basically implying that I won't have to suffer anymore. So that means we can break the curse, right? But how do we do that? Which is the first problem. If the curse can be broken, then that's what I want to do. I feel bad for basically turning down the Goddess of Light's show of love, but it's pretty scary falling in love with someone when you can die as a result. The old lady shrugs her shoulders and cackles in response. These gods of ours are a jealous bunch and anxiety prone to boot, especially the Goddess of Light. All you need to do to break the curse is find someone who will love you more than the Goddess of Light does. Just prove this person can care for you better than the deity of light itself. Stop messing with us and just tell us what to do. No need for theatrics. Macro grumbles at the old lady who's sitting there grinning from ear to ear. You always know just what buttons to push to get on my last nerve. She snaps at him before turning her big gaze back to me, her smile quickly returning. All you have to do is kiss the person who loves you. Just like in old fairy tales. But in this case, it's no tale. True love's kiss has been used to break countless curses on poor princesses all throughout history. My body temperature shoots up so fast that I'm momentarily afraid my face will burst into flame. How else am I supposed to react when she tells me I have to kiss someone? And I didn't mishear her either. She definitely said the K word. Eep. All the fur on my tail is sticking straight up. Of course, it won't work if they don't love you back, Miku, and it can't be no puppy love either. It's gotta be the real deal. The true love part is the trickiest bit. What do you mean? I ask her nervously, unable to calm down my racing heart. Her expression changes from amused to serious as she opens her mouth to explain. By true love, I mean someone who can vow to love you for the rest of their life and your life. The gods are tough customers, meaning it's not enough to just kiss someone because you think you like them a little. If the person you fall in love with doesn't reciprocate, then the Goddess of Life will release you from your suffering. And by that, I mean through death. Their logic is pretty out there, but no point trying to argue with actual deities, right? I'm starting to feel hopeless about ever breaking this curse. There's no way I can do something like that on my own. I'd do anything to get him to like me, and I have no intention of ever giving up, but I'm nowhere near confident enough to ask someone to love me for the rest of my life. Though there's no denying I'd be pretty happy if someone said that to me. I'm at a loss for words. I glance over at the person in front who's in front and center in my thoughts. Macro seems lost in thought, and a few moments later he asks the old lady a question. Let's backtrack slightly. That whole story about the Curse of Light is true? I thought it was only a rumor. Huh? You came all the way out here to see me without knowing that much? Yep, I see. I thought I knew why the two of you came out here. That you'd be in and out in no time. But of course, it's never that simple, huh? How annoying. Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. Just answer my question. Hang on. I just realized something. I have a feeling I've misunderstood something kind of important. I assumed all this time that Macro knew nothing about my curse, but I just learned the legend concerning the grace of the gods and my own blessing is common knowledge. I always figured it was something that only the folks in my village knew about, but that would mean... Suddenly, all the fur on my body stands straight up as if I'm overcome by embarrassment. You're talking about the commonly known legend? It's true, give or take a few small details here and there. I see. So that means Miku must be in love with someone, correct? It's true. Ah! He even knows that the curse is activated when I fall in love with someone. And there's no way I'd ever be able to admit it's him. What do I do? You're pretty dumb, kid. Considering how emotionally stunted you are, I'm surprised you made it this far in life. This is something that's personal to Miku, and I'm sure she's very sensitive about it. How can you ask something like that so lightly? You have no tact whatsoever. I'm not dumb, but that was pretty rude of me. I'm sorry, Miku. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Thank you for sticking up for me. Thank you for sticking up for me, Granny. Though, based on Macro's reaction, it looks like we have a long journey ahead of us. He clearly knows I'm in love with someone, but he clearly doesn't realize it's with him. In fact, he seems completely clueless. My mark is starting to hurt. I have to grin and bear it as best as I can. Sigh. Well, this is a pickle. I'm sure you agree, Miku. I think she's already figured it out. That the person I love is Macro. She's talking to me knowing full well Macro doesn't understand. I find myself unable to do anything other than nod in agreement. I send a silent thank you to the old lady from the bottom of my heart. I get it, Miku. Feel free to stop by from time to time, let's say once every 10 days or so, but let me get rid of some of that pain first. Hang on a minute. She slowly gets up before shuffling over to the back of the room. I'm so grateful that she picked up on what's going on without needing me to explain in detail. That's incredibly reassuring. As I watch her from afar, lost in thought, Macro leans closer, speaking in a hushed tone. I'm really sorry about what I said. What? It's fine. Really? Don't worry. Really? I know you didn't mean anything by it. I guess it's still bothering him. Must be worried if he's bringing it up. My emotions are a jumbled mess right now. I'm not really sure why, though I don't think it's anyone's fault. I was just surprised and the word slipped out. I knew about your curse of light, and I had a feeling that this recent development was somewhat related, but I wasn't sure. My heart beats faster as he continued talking. I see. So then did he know how my curse was activated? I'm so embarrassed that I find myself at a loss for words, my cheeks flamingly hot. This only started recently, right? It made me think that the person you love is probably a member of the Lanicular Guild, which could complicate things. You're right. I can't believe he figured out that much. He somehow pieced most of the puzzle together. But if that's the case, then who exactly does he think that I'm in love with? I would die of embarrassment if he figured out it's him. But it's even worse knowing he thinks it's someone else. Sorry, you probably don't want to talk about it, right? I'm always sticking my nose into stuff that's none of my business. Macro apologizes yet again, probably due to how red my face is right now. Please don't apologize. What am I going to do? He's going to feel uncomfortable either way. I don't want to make him feel sad, but I don't want to annoy him either. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's really okay. So Miku. Heart mark on my chest throbs it with pain. You're joking. Just that is enough to make it burn? So you're saying that I need to be honest with my feelings? But I'm just going to put him in an awkward position if I do. I don't know what to do. The mark hurts, but my heart hurts more. It hurts so much that I can't even stand. I'll curl up into a ball, cradling my chest in pain. Hold on, I'll get the witch. I hear his frazzled voice next to my ear. There I go again, causing more problems and making people worry more about me. My eyes are beginning to well up with tears. No, I'll only make him worry if I start crying. I somehow manage to hold back my tears while I struggle to deal with my pain. Macro returns moments later with the old lady in tow. She barely glances at me before figuring out what's going on. With a quick nod, she turns to Macro. Hug her. I'm sorry? His dubious reply seems to echo loudly in the room. To be fair, I'm pretty taken aback by what the old lady just told him to do. Did she really just tell him to hug me? Ignoring our flabbergasted expressions, she turns to start shuffling back to where she was before, and Macro hurriedly grabs her before she can get away. Tell me what is going on, he snaps. In response, the old lady shakes him off with a grumpy look. She heaves an exasperated sigh before explaining further. The most effective method of shaking off the effects of a curse is another person's warmth. So if she's ever in pain, hug her. Stop dilly-dallying and just do it already. I've still got a lot of stuff to take care of, and it's only going to take longer if you keep bothering me. How much of that is actually the truth, Granny? More importantly, what kind of advice was that? I guess I really didn't mishear her after all. but I find myself suffocating under the effects of the curse, meaning I have no breath to argue with. Macro seems completely baffled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Macro. I can put up with this much at least. I wish it would let up already. Miku, I'm sorry, but here I come. Huh? Curled up into a tighter ball than before, I suddenly find my entire body enveloped in warmth. It takes me a moment to realize Macro is hugging me, holding me in his arms. Yeep! He hugged me before, but it feels far different this time around, now that I'm aware of my feelings for him. I'm such a nervous wreck that my entire body stiffens in response. It's going to be okay. Let me help take your pain away. I'm so embarrassed, I don't know what to do, but I feel so comfortable in his arms. I feel his hand on my trembling back, rubbing it gently. The position I'm in means my ear is pressed against Macro's chest. I can clearly hear his heart beating just as fast as mine. Your ear's twitching. Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine, but it's making Here we are. All right, we're back reading Surviving in Another World as a Villainous Fox Girl. We're on chapter 5. This is book 2, by the way. Chapter 5, Jealousy and Discord. Feeling better? Yeah, thanks. It's fine. Literally the least I could do. How long have we been here like this? It feels like so much time has passed, but also like practically no time has passed at all. Macro refuses to make eye contact with me as he slowly lets go. Are his cheeks slightly red or is it just me? I send a silent apology for making him feel uncomfortable. Feeling better, are we? You didn't have to... Feeling better, are we? You didn't have to stop, you know. You don't have a nice bone in your body, do you? Her timing seems almost too perfect as she picks up that moment to shuffle back over. Honestly, I think she was watching and waiting. How embarrassing. She approaches me, and before holding something out in my direction, I notice a black lumpy stone in the palm of her hand. This is a stone that will protect you against the pain born from that curse. It's a magical stone infused with pain-soothing effects. I put a spell on it, making it especially effective against the curse of light. However, you will need to use a certain amount of magic in order for it to work, which isn't something you can necessarily do while you're in pain. She's right. It's hard to concentrate on anything, let alone casting spells, when you're doubled over in agony. Which is why you'll need a different way to get it started. I'm sure you can ask that crafting friend of yours. Thanks for helping us with this so quickly. That explains why they mentioned Kiefer earlier. He's a pro when it comes to magical gadgets and should be able to break something up. No, I'm sure he can. He's always making such amazing inventions. After handing me the stone, she clasps my hands in hers before looking me straight in the eyes, her gaze unwavering. Just be aware that it's nothing more than a soother. If your pain is great enough, this stone will be nothing more than a paperweight. I understand. At the end of the day, it's nothing more than a simple painkiller. I know that, and yet hearing her say it out loud is discomforting. Still, she needs to make sure I know the truth. If you don't want to lose your life, you have to get rid of the curse. Think you can do it? She pats my hand slightly, grinning. I can tell her she's trying to cheer me up, which is why I'm able to look her right back at her while answering. Yes, I won't give up. You seem confident, at least. I like you more and more, kid. Keep your chin up. Honestly, I don't think I can do it. I'm scared. I just want to run away. But there's no point in wasting my breath whining about it. I don't want her to worry, but I also don't want to look weak, even to myself. I won't let the curse win. I refuse. There's no guarantee I'll be okay in the end, but my love means too much for me to just give up on it easily. I look over at Macro out of the corner of my eye and see he's watching me, an expression of concern on his face. Ugh, I'm so easy to please. All it takes to warm my heart back up is a simple look. Thanks, Macro. I'm glad I fell in love with you. Unable to tell him how I feel just yet, I smile warmly at him in hopes that maybe my love for him will shine through, even just a little. After leaving the witch doctor's house, we walk alone in silence for a while. I mean, Macro's usually quiet, so it's not that weird, but the reason why I'm not talking either is because I feel overwhelmingly self-conscious about that hug from earlier. I'm so embarrassed, but also so happy. I wish I had the power to freeze time so I could have enjoyed it a little bit longer. I have to stop thinking about it. The more I think about it, the redder my cheeks get. Miku? Yeep! Which is why I can't help but yelp in surprise when Macro suddenly says my name. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Were you thinking about something? Yeah, a bit, kind of, but it's okay. It feels sort of like a lie, but it looks like I managed to get away with it. I'm awful when it comes to making up believable lies, so I really need to try and calm down. He'll never want to be with me if he only sees me as some kind of weird kid. It makes sense, all things considered. Ah, the guilt is killing me. He thinks I'm worried about the curse. I can't tell him I'm actually thinking about the hug earlier. I'm so sorry, Macro. His overwhelming kindness is almost unbearable. Thank you, Macro. But I should probably try and find something to distract myself with. I try to follow through by forcing a heartfelt smile to my lips, and his eyes briefly widen with surprise. You really are strong, Miku. You're so small, and yet there's a look of determination in your eyes. Yeah? I'm aware of how small and weak I look. I absolutely can't protect myself in a fight, which is why I'm surprised when he calls me strong. When I tell him I'm not all that strong, he chuckles softly before saying he didn't mean physically strong. I felt the same way when we first met, Miku. You have a strong spirit. I remember you did everything you could to help your sister Claire. Of course I did. She was in danger. Strong spirit? I find myself puzzled, having never been told that before. I don't think that's necessarily true. Suddenly, Macro stops and turns to face me. Such a serious look in his eyes only makes my heart start to race again. But you can't keep everything bottled up inside, Miku. People who have strong spirits like you do find it difficult to complain or ask for help. Hector's the same way. I'm worried about you, he says while hanging his head. His concern is written plain as day on his face. Macro is very kind and caring, which only makes things more difficult because I understand him so well. Macro is the type of guy who seems cold and emotionless at first, but is actually the kindest, most thoughtful person I know. He would never abandon someone in trouble. What would he do if I told him how I felt? I'm sure he wouldn't abandon me. In fact, I bet he'd listen to me and accept my feelings for what they are. He would never let me die on his watch, and a part of me is worried that might mean he'd go so far as to feign his own feelings for me to do so. I absolutely can't let that happen. Which is the exact moment when I realized I can't tell him how I truly feel about him. We continue walking along in silence. I have a lot on my mind. I have to keep trying as hard as I can, but at the same time, I don't want to force my love for Macro on him if he doesn't feel the same way. Gosh, being in love is hard. Along the way to Kiefer's workshop, I suddenly hear someone call my name. Macro and I exchange glances before searching around for the owner of the voice. We don't have to wait long before she comes running up to us. Huh? Laura? I went out for a walk and then realized belatedly that I have no idea how to get back to the guild. Tee, I'm glad I bumped into you two. Well, what's Laura doing out here all by herself? We're not supposed to go out into town on our own while the guy behind the kidnapping, who apparently can manipulate people, is still on the loose. Did she forget? As I point that out, completely taken aback, she answers with a simple, oopsie. Come on, Laura. You have to be more careful, or else you'll get into trouble again. It's already happened once. Gosh, I'm sorry. You're right. I was really only planning on taking a short walk around the guild. But then my curiosity got the better of me. As I scold her, hands on hips in frustration, Laura's shoulders slump more and more. Oh no, I don't want to make her feel sad. I'm sure Laura just wanted a little break from being cooped up in the guild all day. As long as you understand why you need to stay inside, it's fine. But I was really worried. Next time you go for a walk, just ask Claire or Angela or who's ever around with to go with you, okay? Okay, I will. I'm really sorry for making you worry, but I appreciate the concern. After apologizing, she beams at me with her usual cheerful smile. Yep, that smile suits her much better. But what are we going to do now? Two of us are on our way to Kiefer's place, and I don't want to drag her along with us. Besides, Claire and the others are probably looking for her, wondering where she went. After giving it some thought, I turn to Macro. Can you escort Laura back to the guild, Macro? Kiefer's place is just around the corner, so I should be able to make it on my own. But I already have the stand the old lady gave me. All I need to do is give Kiefer a simple explanation of what's going on, and I'm sure he'll know what to do. And Laura can't make it back by herself. I'm really sorry, but I appreciate it. Can you take me back, Macro? Look, she's even asking you herself, so, huh? I just feel a twinge from the mark on my chest. Why? I watch as Laura peers into Macro's face. He takes a step back as if unsure what to do. He's such a nice guy that there's no way he'd just leave her here. Should we all walk back to Kiefer's place together? Then the two of them can head back home? Just as the thought crosses my mind. Huh? I thought I recognized you. What are you guys doing out in the middle of the road? Kiefer! With impeccable timing, Kiefer walks over to us, most likely on his way back home. He's got that same drawling voice as always, with his usual smile and tousled hair that looks like he just woke up. This might be the first time I've seen him out in public. Come on, don't look that surprised to see me. I'll have you know, I leave the house on occasion to go shopping. There are some special ingredients that are a little too difficult for Candace to get on her own. It sounds like he'd been engrossed in work when he realized he was missing something, so he'd gone out in the same clothes he'd been wearing at home and was now on his way back. That outfit of his has definitely seen better days. He should at least try to do the bare minimum when it comes to his appearance if he doesn't want to make Candace angry. Still, I'm glad to see him. Now our problem is solved. Kiefer's right here, meaning we should really get Laura back home. What's that? You need me for something? I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure I can handle it. I can't fight, but I have a plethora of protection devices at my disposal. After hearing my back and forth with Kiefer, Macro heaves a sigh as if I'm finally convinced that I'll be okay. Well, mostly convinced. I'll be back as soon as I drop Laura off at the guild. Just make sure you stay with Kiefer, okay? Okay, got it. Thanks. With that, he turns to Laura, telling her to come along. I watch as the two of them head off in the direction of the guild. A part of me feels a little sad to see him go, but he's coming right back. Stop being so selfish. You're a little too close. Makes it hard to walk. What'll I do if we get separated? Here, let's link arms at least. Sigh. Ugh, my mark hurts. I know Laura really hates physical contact. Her affectionate friendliness is something I really love about her, which is why I shouldn't feel jealous or bitter seeing her act that way. I know I shouldn't, and yet I find myself squeezing my eyes shut, not wanting to see another second more. Now then, shall we be off? We only get in everyone's way just standing here in the middle of the road. Oops, you're right. Sorry, Kiefer. His words snap me back to reality. Oh gosh, if I let myself zone out like that, I'll get quickly overwhelmed by negative emotions. I gotta focus on what I need to do right now. After slapping my cheek slightly to center myself, the two of us head back to Kiefer's workshop. I give Kiefer a brief explanation of the stone and my curse along the way, and he nods in understanding. He always catches on so quickly. I see. So you'll need something that'll activate the stone whenever you're in pain, right? Sounds easy enough. I should be able to finagle something together before Macro gets back. Huh? Is it really that simple? Did you forget who I am? The man who spends his days and nights on research and development? He's very persuasive. I'm well aware of how good he is at what he does, but I still had no idea he'd be able to get what I needed that quickly. I'll get started as soon as we get back, he says, his cheerful smile incredibly encouraging. I really am lucky to have so many friends I can count on. And here we are. Welcome, Miku. We make it back to Kiefer's place in one piece. Instead of heading toward the small house that acts as the living space, we go directly to his workshop. Though I guess he considers this place to be his home. I worry that by not sleeping in a proper bed, he'll never get enough rest. Though as Candace has said before, I'm glad he's getting any sleep at all. I'm really happy Candace is around to help take care of him. He'd have collapsed from malnutrition and exhaustion long ago without her. Where's Candace? I think she's still asleep. She'll be up soon, though. Surprisingly enough, that girl's not a morning person. Come to think of it, I remember her sleeping in late with Claire when she spent the night that one time. I figured it was because the two of them were up pretty late, but I guess she's just not a morning person. I'm a little surprised considering the way she usually is. Take a seat, wherever you can find space. I settle myself down on a nearby chair. The room is crammed full of mysterious tools and supplies scattered about here and there, the sight of which makes me scream internally, wanting nothing more than to tidy it all up. But I know I shouldn't reorganize anything without permission, since it might make it more difficult for him to work. Hang tight, this should only be a moment. Can I watch? Of course, go right ahead. This is the first time he's made one of his magical gadgets where I can see, which is why I watch with wonder as he works. He was always this careful. He always has this carefree attitude about him, but when he's focused on his work, he gets far more serious. As expected from an artisan like him, his hands move deftly, as if he's done this many times before, and despite the delicate task at hand, he proceeds confidently, working on the stone without making any mistakes. I can only imagine how long something like this would take if I had to do it myself. As he fiddles with the pendant backing, he suddenly asks me a question. Hey Miku, you haven't told him yet, have you? Macro, I mean. What? I'm so completely thrown off guard by his question, which seemingly comes out of nowhere. What would have brought that up? You know? Your emotions are an open book, Miku. I'm pretty sure the only people who don't know at this point are Macro himself, Rini, and maybe Angela? I look over at him, clearly frazzled, and he answers with an easy smile without looking up from what he's doing. Am I really that easy to read? But I try so hard not to let my emotions show on my face. So he knows, huh? That's extremely embarrassing. I can feel myself blushing in response, unsure what to say. I just sit there with my head hung down. He chuckles lightly before repeating his question. So you haven't told him then? How do you feel about him? I haven't. He's just so nice. I feel like if he knew how I felt, he wouldn't put his own feelings aside. He would put his own feelings aside to put me in whatever help way he could. And even if that didn't happen, I don't want to do anything that might put him in an uncomfortable position. I want to tell him so badly. I want to know how much I care about him. I want him to know how much I care about him. And I want to put an end to this stupid curse. But my suffering pales in comparison to how bad I would feel making Macro suffer. That's a good point, and something I can see him doing. You know him well, Miku. He places the gadget down with a loud clunk before looking up at me with his usual smile on his face. That certainly sounds like the Macro I know. He might come off as cold and cantankerous, but there's no denying he actually cares for the folks around him. Actually, Rini's much worse when it comes to that type of stuff. That guy doesn't care about anyone but his close friends, he says, chuckling when resting his chin in his hand. I get the feeling he's trying to cheer me up, but his tone immediately turns serious and he speaks quietly, as if trying to make me understand something very important. He sounds almost like a caring, older brother. That carefree personality of his is gone in an instant. The thing about Macro is, despite all his bluster and concern, he's not the type that would lie about his feelings, about anything. He's stupidly honest, sometimes to a fault. I don't know about that. At the same time, I'm sure he's also desperate to find a way to save you, Miku. This, in fact, might be the only way to do so. Who knows? We won't until the end, but I know Macro hates giving up more than anything. He pauses while looking into my eyes. Don't you agree? Kiefer asks with a smile, and he hands me the gadget he's been working on. There you go, all done. I made it into a pendant so it'll look stylish, and black is Macro's favorite color. Kiefer! Macro likes the color black? That alone is enough to imbue this pendant with extra special meaning to me. I can't believe you, Kiefer, and yet I'm also truly grateful, both for the pendant and also for the advice. That's right. Macro is not the type to leave anything half-finished. He's also not the type to lie about anything and will always give you his honest opinion on whatever it might be. Maybe I should just go ahead and tell him after all? A part of me still feels it's too early to make a decision. I need to give this whole situation a bit more thought, including whether I tell him or not. Thank you, Kiefer. You're more than welcome. I hope it helps lighten your pain as well as your heart, which is why I'm grateful in more ways than one, for both the pendant and the words of encouragement. I really shouldn't rush into anything. And now that I have this magic device to help alleviate my pain, I can give this matter the time and attention it deserves. I look down at the pendant lying in the palm of my hand. Whenever I'm in pain, apparently all I have to do is squeeze the stone. I'm truly impressed that he could make something like this so quickly. He laughed off my amazement, explaining how it was an incredibly simple design, but I don't think so. It's only simple for someone as talented as Kiefer. I find myself bursting into laughter at the realization of how many friends I have by my side, all ready to help me in whatever way they can. Huh? Is that Miku? What are you doing here? Morning, Candace. Morning, Candace? Kiefer made this for me. With the pendant in hand, I was starting to think about heading back to the guild when Candace entered the workshop. Despite her initial surprise, she runs over to me happily. Hee, she's so cute. Is it something to help with the curse? Wait, you know about that? I show her the pendant while filling her in with what's happening, and she nods in understanding. How much does she know exactly? I didn't know all the details, but I basically got the gist. You love Macro, right? And if he doesn't love you back, then your life is very in danger. What? Wah! Bullseye! I'm surprised by how much she knows. I glance over at Kiefer, and he shrugs his shoulders as if to say, I told you so. I don't get the feeling she heard that from Kiefer. Which means he was right when he said my feelings for Macro are obvious. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sure everything my brother's made will help you out. I don't think it will be enough to cure you, but at least it will give you peace of mind, right? And I'll help you too in whatever way I can. I'm sure everything will work out. We'll get you and Macro together, and you'll live happily ever after. That's very encouraging, but let's not rush into things, okay? I'm a little overwhelmed by Candace's enthusiasm, shaking her fist in the air triumphantly. Still, her cheerfulness and positive attitude is encouraging. I was starting to get down on myself, so I'm grateful for the push forward, no matter how small. So, I really should be heading back to the guild. Didn't Macro say he was coming to get you? Which means you should sit tight until he does. To be fair, he did say that, but Kiefer finished up his work so quickly. I feel bad that Macro has to come out all the way out here just for me. If I hurry, I might be able to get to him to meet him before he leaves. Or so I thought, when suddenly, he is? Attaboy, Macro. You can't let a golden opportunity like this pass you by, Miku. You should definitely wait for him. Fine, I get it, Candace. I get the feeling I'm stuck here, even if I wanted to leave. If I tried to force my way out, they'd tie me down for sure. But I know they're only doing so with good intentions, so I decide it's easier to just listen to them. Though, if we're being honest, Laura did sort of take him away. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Candace latches on to the information that Kiefer let slip. Wasn't there a better way of saying that? Taking him away makes it sound like, at any rate, she was lost, so what were we supposed to do? What's she up to now? I'm getting weird vibes from this entire situation. Hearing what happened, Candace frowned suspiciously. She looks almost angry. Despite having called a truce of sorts, I'm worried that the two of them are still at odds with each other. What's so weird about it? Laura has an amazing memory, and the guild is well known enough that she could have asked anyone for directions. For someone as friendly and outgoing as Laura to somehow get lost on one of the busiest streets in town seems very suspicious. Now that I think about it, it does kind of sound weird. I'm kind of directionally challenged for sure, and I still managed to remember where the guild was fairly easily. If she was lost, she could have asked someone for help. Wait, is she saying that Laura lied to us? But even if that is true, why would she lie? It should be obvious. She wanted to have Macro all to herself. Either that, or she wants to get in your way for some reason. What's her problem? And after she made a big deal of saying she liked Hector. My heart starts racing, making me feel sick to my stomach. So does that mean Laura's in love with Macro too? Oh gosh, Miku! I squeeze the pendant tightly in my hand. As I do, a warmth flows out of the black stone, filling my entire body. Wow, I really do feel better. I breathe a sigh of relief. Sorry, Miku, I shouldn't have said what I did. I'm just so upset that I blurted it out without thinking. No, it's fine. Plus, I got to test out my pennant for the first time. It worked just like you said, Kiefer. Thank you. I say with a smile, which Kiefer returns, saying he's glad to hear that. Why did Laura lie to us? No, we don't know for sure that she lied. Though, now I'm worried about what exactly she's planning on doing. I grip the pennant in my hand, once more, squeezing it tightly. Claire's perspective. I'm heading back to Kiefer's place. Thanks so much, Macro. It was so nice of you to bring me all the way back here. It's no big deal. Besides, I told you I would. Seeing Macro enter the guild with Laura by his side instead of Miku, I froze, unsure of exactly what's going on. What is she doing with him? Why is Laura clinging to his arm? Did she have a change of heart? Ah, he's gone. I miss him already. She stood there, watching him go until he was out of sight. She looks like a young girl in love. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure I saw that exact scene as part of Macro's route. In that game, Laura's rival is Candace, and Macro originally goes to Kiefer's place in order to see her. Realizing that Laura's rival now is Miku causes a chill to race up my spine. What is going on here? It's almost like Laura has somehow invaded Macro's route. I'm sorry, Claire, Laura says without turning around. There's a lilt to her voice that sounds almost alluringly mature. I can't help but shudder in response. What are you apologizing for? I ask cautiously. She turns around and looks right at me, an air of coolness on her face and a smirk tugging at the corners of her lips. She tilts her head and it turns her usually innocent expression into something enchantingly seductive. Isn't it obvious? Because I'm in love with Macro. The same person your adorable twin sister is in love with, right? All the fur on my body sticks straight up. I reflexively hug myself as a feeling of unimaginable despair washes over me. I only just realized it. I've met so many amazing guys since I arrived, and I originally thought Hector was the one for me. But you know what? After seeing Macro, I suddenly realized how wrong I was. He makes my heart pound in a way no other guy can make me feel. Stop it. Hearing the same line I've heard before makes me break out in a cold sweat. This has to be a joke, right? As the heroine, can she actually break free from the script? This must be true love. I'm just not sure what to do. I know how Miku feels about him. I'm garbage, aren't I? There's no doubt about it now. She does remember. That's the exact same line she used in the game. It seems like she's decided to go after Macro. How heartless. Though, I wouldn't have known how amazing Macro was if it wasn't for Miku. She's the one who told me how kind he is, and so I wanted to see for myself. And before I knew what was happening, the only difference is that instead of thanking Candace, she's thanking Miku. But everything else is the same. I've played the game so many times, I know every word she's about to say by heart. You couldn't take your eyes off him, right? Huh. That's exactly what I was about to say. You're amazing, Claire. Her eyes widen in surprise for a moment before she bursts into laughter. That sultry look from before is gone, replaced by one far more innocent. Adorable face I've come to know well. I know it's unfair to Miku, but there's no way I'm going to give up on these feelings I have for him. And with a serious glint in her eyes, she officially declares war. You'll have to try and find a different way to break Miku's curse, she says offhandedly before heading back to her room. All I can do is watch her leave, trembling in silent fury. What did she say? Just find another way? Like it's that easy? She knows it's impossible. The heroine always ends up with the love of her life, crying over Miku's death as if there was not a thing she could have done to prevent it. In the game, she falls in love with Hector, who hugs her close, comforting her before kissing her. I'm sure the scene will stay the same, regardless if she ends up with Macro. I've raged about how amoral that scene was since the first time I played the game. That she easily takes the one thing that would have made Miku happy for her own pleasure while wanting peace of mind at the same time is downright evil. So this is how it's happening now, huh? Not on my freaking watch. There's no way I'm going to relive that tragedy again, especially not in real life. I've worked as hard as I could, as far back as I can remember to avoid it, and in the end, none of it mattered. If Miku dies, I'll cast a blanket of foxfire over the entire town, and I'm confident that the flames would be unquenchable. I guess this isn't the Ecto route then, huh? When Laura first expressed interest in him, I'd been slightly anxious. Mainly because I knew he was Miku's original love interest, but in reality, her rival ended up being Candace. I was guilty at the time for feeling relieved Miku wasn't going to be involved in any sort of love triangle. I guess I deserve this. I don't have time to run away from the reality of the situation. If things continue the way they're going, Laura will end up with Macro. And if she can change this part of the story, there's no telling what she might do. Even if Macro is leaning toward Miku right now as the heroine, she has the power to do whatever she wants and get whatever she wishes. I can't let this happen. Oh gosh, I guess I'm going to have to pay Hector another late night visit. Just a few moments ago, I had to confront Hector, who's currently nursing a broken heart. I remember how he looked, sobbing on his knees, saying how if she loves Macro, then he'll do whatever he can to make sure she's happy. I don't want to have to deal with that mess of a man anymore, but Miku means so much to me, I'll do whatever it takes to get him back on his feet. My legs are shaking. Fear grips me as I realize how far we've come in the story. I thought I'd been so careful. I worked so hard to make sure this ending wouldn't happen. A part of me wishes we'd never left the village, and yet there's no denying I like our new lives here in the city. No matter what I say, I enjoy the work I'm doing here, and I love working alongside my friends. And I feel like, somewhere along the way, Miku stopped being my number one priority. That I only protected her when it was convenient for me. No, this is no time to feel sorry for yourself. Get a grip, Claire. There's still time to save her. I will protect her with my life. I smacked my shaking legs as hard as possible before rushing to Hector's room, desperately trying to remember every single detail from Macro's route in the game. Chapter 6. Ready to Believe. Or from Miku's perspective, I've had to deal with pain in my chest on multiple occasions before I got my magic pain-relieving stone. I shudder to think how much worse it would be without the gadget. I'm overwhelmingly grateful to both Macro and Kiefer. I need to do my best to stay calm, but every time I think that, Macro, you're going to work, right? Can I come with you? I'm pretty good at gathering information, so I could be really super helpful. You'll just get in the way. Also, you're not even in the guild yet, and I'm going to need you to take a few steps back. Someone's grouchy. Come on, just this once won't hurt, right? You can make a decision after you see me at work, please? For crying out loud, I think about it if you promise not to get in my way. Yay, you're the best, Macro. I haven't said yes yet. It hurts about every time I hear Laura's cheerful voice along with Macro's coming from the dining room. I guess I get jealous now, even when it's just two friends talking. But how can I not? She's always all over him. Ugh, I hate myself for thinking like that. I quickly slip out of the guild, taking care to make sure neither of them spots me. I'm going back over to the witch doctor's house today. Macro was supposed to come with me, but after seeing the two of them together, I couldn't bring myself alone to face them, so I decided to go alone. I know I made a promise, and I feel awful about it. Miku! Eep! Just then, a voice calls my name from directly behind me, and surprised, I literally jump into the air. Who's there? I turn to see Hector, who's far from his usual jovial self. His eyebrows are furrowed, and there's a faint smile on his lips, almost like he's forcing himself to look happy. I wonder what's wrong. Sorry, did I scare you? No, I was lost in thought, and I didn't realize I was alone. I wasn't alone. It's okay. And then he asks me if I'm heading over to the witch doctor's place. I nod. I still feel so guilty about leaving Macro behind that I find myself unable to look him in the eyes. Can I come with you? Huh? All I've been doing lately is staring down mountains of paperwork. I figured it might be nice to change of pace to escort you around today. Does he not realize I've been planning on going with Macro? Maybe I should ask him to come with me. I doubt I'll get kidnapped again, but I feel so guilty about breaking my promise to Macro. Come on, let's go. Oh, okay. As I stand there, Indecisive, Hector lightly pushes me forward. I guess we're going together after all. I still feel so bad. You were planning on going with Macro today, huh? What? How did you know? Hector randomly asks with a wry smile on his face after we've been walking together for a while. Is that why he asked to come with me? How does everyone always know? I had a feeling, but he was busy flirting with Laura, right? I can't stand it. And after stealing Miko away from me. He smirks as if proud of some joke he's made, but hearing him talk about Macro flirting with Laura only makes my chest ache. Noticing that I'm holding my chest in pain, he hurriedly apologizes. None of this is his fault, so it's not like he has to feel bad, and yet I can tell he clearly does, as he seems even more upset than earlier. What happened? I'm not used to seeing him like this, and it's making me worried. I wasn't trying to be mean. Well, not to you at least. To Macro, yes. I just wish he felt at least a little bad about what he's doing. No, I'm the selfish one with the grudge. Seriously, what's going on? He's not making any sense. Why does he want to be mean to Macro? Seeing me, watching him with a puzzled look on my face, he smiles vaguely. I guess he can tell I'm worried, but doesn't want to go into any more detail. In that case, I should probably drop it all for now. But I'm still worried. I can't help but think about how adorable you are, Miku. After all, you're my very special friend. Hector! He suddenly squeezes his eyes shut, and then, as if having mentally prepared himself for something, he looks over at me with his usual smile. That's right. You're my very cute, very special friend. Which is why I can't just abandon you if you're sad or hurting. So, of course, I get a little mad at Macro who made you feel this way. It's a small price to pay for making you feel better. Come on, Hector, stop it already. I can tell he's pushing himself way too hard. He's clearly forcing himself to act cheerful, tide what's wrong, though I have no idea why. Which means I shouldn't push it, no matter how worried I am about him. Whatever's going on must mean a lot to him. It would be insensitive of me to poke my nose into places where I don't belong. Why not go on a date with me after we finish up at the witch doctor's place? We'll have so much fun, and then you can brag about it later. Maybe that'll give you two the opportunity to talk, and he can go with you on your next visit. There's a hint of pain among his words of encouragement. He's so kind, and he's an incredibly dependable leader. A date with Hector, huh? If it'll cheer him up, then I'm happy to go on as many dates as he wants. Thanks, Hector. Okay, sounds like a plan. And maybe it'll make him feel comfortable enough to open up about what's wrong. And then I can be encouraging him for once. Even if he doesn't come right out and ask for help, I'm still going to do what I can to figure out what's wrong. It's decided. After arriving at the witch doctor's house, the old lady greets me with a raised eyebrow, mumbling something about bringing the glow boy this time. What does she mean by that? Hector's hair is pretty blonde, and it does tend to sparkle rather magnificently in the sun. It looks like it's been triggered several times already. This device is very well made. Whoever crafted this is clearly quite talented. I'll do the voice. Seems like it seems like it's been triggered oh, I can't do it. This device has been very well made. Whoever crafted it is clearly quite talented. It's true. Kiefer is brilliant when it comes to gadgets. I reply happily to her comment as she checks out the mark on my skin and the magical pendant, which only causes her already raised eyebrow to crawl further up her forehead. That lazy good-for-nothing? Sigh. There's no denying his brilliance. Tho's personality is a different matter. Not sure why he went with such a plain design, though. Sounds like she knows him quite well, and yet her opinions on the folks I seem to know clash with mine. Macro's a good guy, and so is Hector, so why does she act like they're not? Maybe it's that she actually likes them, and this is her way of showing it. I'm just saying how I feel. Don't get the wrong idea, little fox girl. She knew what I was thinking. How does everyone always know? It's so embarrassing. Is my face really that easy to read? Now then, it looks like you haven't made any progress in breaking your curse. Are you giving up or what? I'm still working on it, but I'm just worried. that if I confess my feelings to the person I love, I'll just make them suffer. Still, I don't think I can live with this pain forever. All I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses. If you're not brave enough to do it, just say so. She's right. The only thing about her is she speaks the truth about mincing matters, though right now I feel very much attacked. Miku. What's up, Hector? After that blow to my ego from the older woman, Hector calls me over with an oddly serious expression on his face. What's wrong? I look up at him worried, and then when he suddenly breaks into this usual warm smile. I'll help you every step of the way, so don't worry. You're the cutest girl in the whole wide world, Miku, so be more confident. Don't you think that's a bit much? What is he talking about? The sudden explosion of compliments is making me blush. Knock it off. I appreciate the encouragement, okay? Okay, I have to get it together. There's no way I'll succeed if I'm this down on myself before I even start. Hey, Granny, is it okay if the situation is basically unchanged from before? Miku hasn't gotten any worse, has she? Is it me or are you sparkling more than usual, Glow Boy? Just answer the question. The old lady smirks as if having noticed something, causing Hector to actually act unusually flustered in response. What just happened? Though I guess if the two know each other, this type of exchange probably isn't that unusual, right? That's right. She hasn't gotten better or worse. She's stable for now. Great. In that case, I assume she'll have to come back for regular checkups then. And if she hasn't gotten worse, she's okay for the time being, correct? Basically, he's confirming that there's no need for us to really start worrying yet. There are times when I've inevitably felt overwhelmed in pain, but nothing like how I felt in the beginning. I can live with it for now. Sure, but if you don't do anything, you only be postponing the inevitable. If you really want to help her, why not find some exciting way to get the ball rolling? Or would that be too much for you? No, I said I'll support her, and I meant it. I'll talk it over with the others and figure out some sort of plan. What ball are we trying to get rolling? I ask him, and he explains how we'll need to figure out a way to get me and Macro alone together, or get a Macro to figure out how I feel about him. Wow, I always thought these kinds of situations were spontaneous, not planned. Hang on. Huh? What? You don't have to do that. I don't need to be alone with Macro or anything. Shut up if you want to live, Fox Girl. Yes, ma'am. Shut up if you want to live, Fox Girl. Yes, ma'am. She looks so cute blushing like that. I swear to God, if he doesn't pick her, I'll kill him myself. After that verbal slap in the face, I fall silent, leaving Hector and the old lady to begin discussing a plan of action. Shouldn't I have a say, seeing as this is all about me? Though I should be happy that this will lead me to getting some time with Macro, right? I don't think my heart will ever be ready for this. No, I have to take any chance I can, especially with everyone going out of their way to help me. But what am I going to do when we're alone? As the two of them continue talking, I find myself lost in my own head. My cheeks blaze with embarrassment. On our way back to the Lana Killer Guild, after leaving the witch doctor's house, Hector's communication gadget receives a call from Wells while walking, his voice sounding somewhat impatient. Hector, Marino managed to stumble on some rather disturbing news. She's over at my place right now. Can you swing by? On my way, but Miku's with me, so I'll drop her off first. Hang on. Whatever's going on sounds like you can't wait. You probably should get over there as quickly as possible. Dropping me off will only waste time. There's no way Hector will let me walk back by myself, leaving us with only one choice. Can I come too? I doubt I can help in any way, but it sounds like the best option under the circumstances. Seeing the puzzled look on his face, I continue. I know I'm not very helpful, but up until now, I've always let you handle everything. At the very least, I want to know what's going on, and if there's something I can do to help, no matter how small, I want to do so. At the end of the day, I'm a member of the Lana Killer Guild too. I promise not to get in anyone's way. I don't want him to waste time, but more importantly, I really do want to help. Mainly because everyone's been going out of their way to help me all this time. I want to be able to do something to show my gratitude. Fine, let's get going then. Okay. The troubled look on his face is quickly replaced by a smile as he agrees. Boo, I promise to do my best. Okay, great. But as a heads up, what we have to do might be a lot for the young lady, okay? What we have to say might be a lot for the young lady, okay? Wells must have overheard our conversation through the device, and I can easily detect a note of worry in his voice. So whatever he has to say might be a lot for me to handle. I don't care. I'll be fine. I want to hear whatever it is you have to share. Okay then. I figured as much. We'll be waiting for you, Wells says before disconnecting. Despite not being able to see him, I can practically see that amused smile of his by the lift in his voice. Upon arriving at Wells' store, I notice the temporarily closed sign on his front door. He's not open today? As the thought crosses my mind, Hector heads toward the back of the store and I hurry to follow. We're allowed to go in using the back door? Yep, it should be unlocked. I've always come in this way whenever I stop by to discuss guild stuff with him. Since he called me here himself, I have a feeling it should be unlocked. I see. So that's how it usually works, huh? Hector walks straight to the back door before opening it. I guess it really was unlocked. Oof, it's a pigsty as usual. I want to tidy things up so badly. We step inside and are immediately overwhelmed by the sheer number of work tools, boxes crammed of parts, and large scraps of metal strewn this way and that. The heavy layer of dust on all the boxes, along with the multitude of cobwebs lining the hallway, makes the entire place feel abandoned. I get the feeling it's mainly used as some kind of storage room, apart from Hector's infrequent visits. Ugh, my tail's getting all dusty. It reminds me of how the guild looked when I first showed up. And I'm so grateful for everything you did. And I'm so grateful for... Oh, it reminds me of how the guild looked when I first showed up. And I'm so grateful for everything you did to clean it up. That's not what I meant. You guys had no time to worry about keeping things tidy, both your work and all. I have this feeling Wells is in a similar situation. Oh, he has plenty of free time. He just can't be bothered. The guild hall had a similar feeling of neglect when I first arrived. Me and Claire cleaned it up and did some reorganizing. We've worked hard to keep it from falling into disarray ever since then. I don't see it as a chore though. I love cleaning, and being able to live in a nice, comfortable space makes me happy. I guess being surrounded by chaos doesn't bother Wells. As we walk further into the room, taking care not to trip over the objects scattered around the floor, I notice a door on my right. Hector mentions that it leads into the store. Apparently, that's where the two of them talk when he stops by for a visit. I'm coming in, Wells. He knocks in a familiar way before calling out. Getting no response, he opens the door. I go to follow him, but he suddenly stops and end up running right into him, smashing my nose into his back. Ow! Hector, what's going on? Are you serious? You two knew we were coming over. Put some clothes on. Right now. I try to look around Hector to see what's going on, but Hector slams the door shut firmly while shouting angrily. Huh? Wait, what's going on? What's this about clothes? Why are they naked? Did you see any of that, Miku? Not a thing. He asks me nervously, clearly frazzled, and when I answer honestly, he seems relieved. His face is beet red, all the way to his ears. What I just saw would have been way too shocking for someone as innocent as you, Miku, so I'm glad you didn't see anything. What exactly was going on? Now I'm kind of scared to be here. Moments later, the door swings open and out walks not only Wells, but also Marino? Sorry about that. And so for making you wait. Come on in. I'm surprised to see Marino walk out wearing an incredibly revealing dress. The slit runs up the side of her skirt, doesn't leave much to the imagination. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. Don't you have a robe or something you can use to cover it with? Is someone having impure thoughts? No, but certainly uncomfortable ones. I'm still a man, you know. Hector grumbles, still blushing. I understand how he feels, though. Even I'm getting a little frazzled seeing Marino dressed up like that. And I'm a girl! She starts giggling, clearly not feeling bad about the situation in the slightest. Arg, she's teasing us. I have something serious to tell them, so go put something on, Marino. I guess I don't have a choice. We'll finish this up later, okay? Don't tease them anymore. Hector looks like he might explode at any moment. Oh, I'm so scared. I have no idea what's going on, but the vibe she's giving off is so overwhelmingly adult in nature that it's making my head spin. Hector's blushing even more furiously than before. Marino does what Wells asks her to, reaching for a man's jacket draped over the back of a nearby seat before putting it on. It's clearly way too big for her. I wonder if it belongs to Wells. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind if we cut to the chase. Please. With everyone's attention focused on Wells, the atmosphere in the room quickly grows serious. It's amazing how easily they can switch over to work mode. I find myself naturally straightening up. You know that little guy still running around loose, the one behind the entire kidnapping ring? You're saying there's a development in the case? So the information he wanted to share is about the kidnapping ring. I'd been under the impression that everyone involved had been arrested, aside from the guy who's been pulling the strings. Did they finally find a lead? We've been getting nowhere questioning his lackeys. They seem to have collective amnesia or something, which is why we've started wondering if perhaps this leader of theirs, along with being able to manipulate others, can brainwash folks as well. The power of manipulation? Just knowing magic like that exists in the world is enough to leave me trembling in fear. And to not even remember being manipulated? Honestly, it's probably better that way. One second. Yeah, there it is. Get my other water. I have some hot tea with lemon and some sweetener in it. Really, really good. Lets me read this a lot nicer. And for so long. Usually information like that just doesn't fall into your lap. Not like where you usually get your information from. You're a mystery wrapped in an enigma, Marino. Hee hee! A magician never tells their secrets. Never underestimate a professional informant and their ability to weasel out information, she says with a carefree grin while looking over at Hector, clearly amused. He raises his hands in front of himself, both in surrender and frustration. Let's return to the topic at hand, Hector says, his expression immediately turning serious again. I already know how amazing you are at gathering information, but I want to know what that information is. I lean forward, not wanting to miss anything. Spill already. Tell me about this unsavory character. Sigh. Usually this is the part where we negotiate how much my information is worth. Joining your guild has sucked all the fun out from my life. She shrugs her shoulders in resignation, causing her curls to brush against her ears. The earrings she's wearing today are decorated with jewels of varying sizes, glittering under the light. She's always so stylish. It's a woman, or more accurately, a young girl. Perhaps about the same age as this young lady right here. She didn't seem to be bothered at all to be surrounded by a bunch of no-good criminals either. A woman, a young girl, that does seem suspicious. I definitely didn't see that one coming. I never would have guessed that the guy in charge was actually a girl. How is it that she wasn't scared of those kidnappers at all? I don't doubt Marino's information, but I timidly pipe up, wanting to know how this girl managed to get involved with a group of dangerous criminals. Do you think there's a chance she just happened to be there? I was wondering the same thing at first, but the witness says they saw a similar interaction happen 3 different times. Also, after the young girl finished talking, the guys would all act like they were drunk. That's pretty incriminating evidence, in my opinion. They were moving around as if they were drunk? Sounds like a puppeteering power to me. There's no doubt about it, then. But what would a girl my age be doing teaming up with a criminal organization like that? What circumstances would lead her down that path? She must be afraid of something, right? There are many brave men in the world, and women. Though, when it comes to courage, I feel like the women outweigh the men, and Marino is the most fearless out of all of them. Oh gosh, I've honestly always seen myself as a bit of a fraidy cat. Without a healthy amount of fear, you'll be dead before you know it. But don't let that fear control you. You use it to stay safe while doing what must be done. Marina's always facing down danger in order to gather information. She's able to do her job despite her fear. I worry about her, but I know her job is important. But Marino giggles, almost as if she can read my mind before my thoughts, before booping my nose. Ah! When I was much younger, being an informant was the only way to survive. It just so happened that I was quite good at it, so I decided to become a professional. And unlike when I first started out, I know when to quit while I'm ahead. Don't look quite so worried about me, okay? Marino! You don't stop looking that adorable. Marino here is ready to pounce. Marino, eat! Her hand brushes my cheek before sliding down my arm, and then from my ears to my neck. She then proceeds to tickle my ribs until my tail bounces up and down from laughter. Oh gosh, I have the goosebumps all over. Marino? Hee. I'm terrified, Hector. Marino? Okay, that was Hector speaking. I'm terrified, Hector. Okay. No more teasing. My heart's beating so fast. Her snuggling me like that is bad for my heart. I hug my tail to my chest, trembling softly, while Rose pats me on the back, calming me down. Thank you. Did she do that on purpose, though? Perhaps it was her attempt at distracting me so I'd stop worrying. Marino is really sweet. Now then, here's the problem, and the part that has the biggest effect on us. Miku, are you ready? Will stops rubbing my back and pats me on the head instead. I look up and notice his expression is no longer amused, but grim, giving me the impression that whatever he's about to say is serious. Seeing him like that makes me kind of scared. Can I really handle whatever he's about to tell me? Will it shock me that much? But there's no turning back now, so I have to take a deep breath and calm myself. The witness managed to remember what the girl looked like. I can't reveal who the witness was without putting them in danger, but just know that they're highly credible and trustworthy, which is why I have no doubt that what they told me is the truth. He pauses and turns to Marino. Both Hector and myself turn our attention to her, and she heaves a sigh before delving into a matter of fact rundown of the girl's appearance. Shorter length, silky black hair. A cute face. A cheerful and innocent sounding voice mixed with the occasional impish grin. Does that sound like anyone we know? That our paths crossed when they did is likewise suspicious. It makes me wonder if she truly was a victim after all. I'll pour this into my Fox cup. Almost done. Where did I put the lid? Here. There's no way it can be true. But as I picture the person who matches Marino's description, all I can see is her face. The face of my new friend who always strikes me as slightly naive, but kind and innocent, although with the occasional glimpse of a slightly mature side. The girl is Laura? He says, his brows furrowed in concern. That's the name of the girl that popped in my own head. But Laura was a victim of the kidnapping, right? She got snatched off the street right before I did. Wait. Marino mentioned she saw Laura talking to the other kidnappers as if they knew each other. How is that possible? There must be some mistake. The witness said that the girl didn't look familiar, so there's a high chance it's Laura, but I'd like the witness to get a look for them myself from a distance if possible. Basically, Marino wants the witness to see for themselves if Laura is the same person they saw talking to the criminals. But is that a good idea? I hope it's not Laura. I don't want it to be her. But what if it is? What if Laura really is one of the bad guys? Let's double check to be sure. But then what, Hector? What am I supposed to do? Should I try to look completely unconcerned by this entire situation? If Laura turns out to be the same girl they saw, then the first step would be to make sure she can't get away before interrogating her about what's going on, Hector says. That's probably a good idea. Maybe she has a perfectly good reason as to why she was there. That has to be it. There's no way the kind, sweet Laura I know would do something like that. I don't want to think about it. It's impossible for me to stay objective here, though. So I really should. I know I should at least try. It's okay, Miku. Leave everything to us. Huh? Seeing my drooping ears and tail, Hector tries to cheer me up. Is that really okay? We're used to this kind of stuff. Getting double-crossed, that is. I've met my fair share of folks who seem like decent people, but were actually up to no good. So, naturally, we've grown to be suspicious of almost everyone. That's our job. But you want to believe that she's different, right? And that's okay. But Hector smiles as he talks to me, but there's a hint of sadness behind it. I notice a similar look on both Wells and Marino's faces. Their shared expression of kindness is puzzling. To be fair, we've had our suspicions since the first moment we met. You have to be able to trust everyone in the guild, right? Which is why it's so important to make sure that they are who they say they are. He's right. I saw the same suspicion in Rainy and Macro's eyes, along with Angela, Candace, and Claire too. Well, Kiefer was the only person who didn't seem fazed at all. It sounds like almost everyone in the guild was suspicious of Laura's motives from the very beginning, except for me. It kind of makes me feel naive for believing there's no possible way she's a bad person, like she managed to pull the wool over my eyes. And yet, after everything I've heard, I still can't bring myself to doubt her. I don't want to believe what they're saying is true. It's my ego that refuses to believe I made a mistake in trusting Laura and becoming her friend. But I also know that people like me are easily tricked and dragged into situations we shouldn't have joined willingly. I'm sure Hector and the others are well aware of that, and yet it's still okay for me to continue to trust Laura. Having a different viewpoint from the rest of the group is actually incredibly helpful, Miku. We're just worried that if Laura does turn out to be a traitor, you'll be hurt far more than anyone else since you trusted her. I appreciate him saying that. Hector and the others really do want me to continue believing in her. Is that really okay? I don't care if I get hurt or not. I'm a little scared, but more than anything, I'm afraid of causing trouble for the rest of the guild. Still, I close my eyes and Laura's face appears in my mind. The way she smiles so innocently and yet acts surprisingly mature for her age. She's always been so honest and yet sometimes says things that creep me out. And then there's the look that she gets when she's hanging out with Macro. I feel the mark on my skin throb with pain and I squeeze the pendant. Yes, regardless of her actions, even if we're in love with the same guy, I still want to believe that she's not a bad person. I'll be okay. I still trust her, and I will until proven otherwise. I promise not to be sad. That's what I've decided. I speak exactly what's on my mind, clearly and concisely. I look directly into Hector's eyes. He seems surprised by my reaction. I see the tension visibly drained from his shoulders, and he chuckles. That's so like you, Miku. You're a treasure, Miku, truly. But even if it turns out that she was tricking us all along, I promise that we'll be right here by your side to cheer you up. You can leave that part to me. I'm always running my mouth off to the delight of others. The three seem to accept my decision, making the mood in the room considerably lighter. Thanks, guys. I have to toughen up a bit if I don't want to worry about them more than I already have. We then begin discussing our plan moving forward. Marino will continue gathering information, with Wells providing backup. Hector agrees to talk to each guild member individually in order to fill them in on the situation. And if he tried having a group meeting to tell everyone at once, it might tip Laura off. Miku, we're counting on you to continue acting normally. Best try not to ever be alone with her. Make sure that at least Claire or Angela are nearby. Or get Rainy to keep you company if he's around. Okay, got it. He then asks me to try and get Claire and Angela to come to my room for a private chat. I'm sure if I ask, Laura won't think twice about it. But wouldn't it be better if he talked to them separately? If Laura overhears me saying that Hector wants to talk to them about something, she won't think twice about it. After all, he is the guild leader, right? So it's not weird that he might want to talk to them about something. Let's get back to the guild for now, and if I can manage to slip away unnoticed, I'll head over to Kiefer's place. If he stops by Kiefer's workshop, he'll be able to fill Candace in on the details as well. Having this entire operation going into full swing is making me nervous. I'm so bad at lying. I'm going to have to be extra careful not to let on that I know anything. Come on. Come now, don't look so tense. We need you to be able to talk to Laura as if nothing's changed. And don't get too upset if you mess up. As long as you keep us informed, Hector will be able to handle any situation that crops up. Leaving it all up to me, huh? But of course I'll handle it. If it's Miku, I'm more than happy to do whatever it takes. Oh gosh, everyone's giving me so much support, but I know I can really rely on them. So there's no reason to be sad. I've never done anything like this before, so of course I'd be a little nervous. I just have to try and not get too dependent on my friends. What are you up to, Laura? You're not really working against us, right? And I think Chapter 7. Yeah, we'll stop here. Perfect 9 chapters. Of course, I can do bonus short story next time, but still. 9 chapters. Good. All right. We will now look at our raid targets, see what we're gonna do. And the plan is to raid Saint Cisco. Assuming her subathon is still going, which it should be. Yeah.